Commander Zaman, because looking at what is happening on the ground right now, you have just said that Chiruma is delaying too much. Barrister Fruit thinks that Chiruma is actually strategic in his
laying the
approach,
groundwork.
laying the groundwork and probably trying to pave the waters in a safe way that will not impact him negatively. But
Yeah.
militarily, I don't know how that is feasible because if he has, as we speak right now, what happens next week? What is his game plan, or is it strategic that he doesn't share his game plan, but he comes with actions? How
He doesn't share.
successful? Uh, 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 let me finish by Stafford, please. How successful has he attained the two orders he has made? First of all, the ultimatum. How successful was that? He now came in his next speech to say the people have not been released the way they should, and now the morning has come and gone. What can we be expecting next? SOS Zama, please.
I still, I think I still insist that President-elect Chiroma should keep the madding crowd behind him. Once you're thinking too much, you take the passion out of this. Um, he may get an insurgent army, yes, but what's the population of that insurgent army? How many of them are there? What funding do they have? Who is providing them equipment and who is providing them know how? They may have a lot of soldiers who are retirees from the Cameroon army. They may have current soldiers from the Cameroon army, but it's no guarantee that they're going to drop off from the army. They are being paid well. They don't. They will not. They may not decide to stay. They may not join the fight in the north or join their kinsmen to fight, clansmen to fight the Biya regime. But the north alone cannot do it. It has to be a concerted effort, north to south, east and west. Everybody acting in unison that's going to bring down the Biya regime. They may have bloodshed. They don't have to have a lot of bloodshed if they have to go the arms route. It gives Bia more energy and more power for the hardliners to crack down and kill people as much as they want. They're hanging on power is their last gasp, and they'll do the worst. Their best bet is the people, because more people who are out there in the streets, the soldiers will run away. That has just been in effect in every given civil disobedience that has happened around the world. How many days did it happen for the Nepalese to overthrow their government? How many days did it happen in Tunisia? What about in Egypt? It didn't take long. So it was not gunshots that threw out the presidents of those countries. It's not the same thing. It's the same thing that happened in Madagascar. So he has to hit the road running, and the longer he stays, I don't care how much calculation he gets. The more you keep a soldier to start thinking why they are fighting, it's a very tenuous situation. You don't keep a soldier who is willing to fight to start thinking, if I may die. Once they have that exuberance, they want to die. They may die for the cause, yes. But if you have to keep them thinking, I could go in here and I'll die, you don't want them to have that thought process. It's a thought process of a defeated army. Once you start worrying about death, you're not going to fight. You're going to be worried about staying alive rather than fighting. So Mr. Tchiroma and his group of people, I think they should do things and do it fast. I still insist on time because Mr. Bia was combobulated. He didn't know what was going on. His soldiers are some sort of fractured. They are confused. The more they can do this quick, they cannot fight a war in 3 or 4 fronts. They have a front in the Central Africa area. They have a front in Ambazonia and the southern zone. If they have another northern front, La Republic will not be able to survive. The more fronts they can open, the more stretched the army was gonna be, and the sooner they're gonna surrender. I think that's the best way that Chiroma can look at this. So I don't see any reason why we have a common enemy. We can fight that enemy. We can deal with our stuff later. Our own stuff is independent of that, but we may go into unholy alliances for our own best benefit.
So I finally got Barrister Mbesia back on board. Barrister Mbesia, please talk to us before we make progress.
Well, I think we're analyzing Chiroma and
Yeah,
Atanganji. Those were the two events. You say,
yeah.
no matter what you know or don't know about Chiroma, in the 2025 presidential elections, Chiroma emerged as a revolutionary leader. He pulled the crowds. People who had never known him followed him to the streets, and he won the elections. But again, it looks like, my opinion, Chiroma and his team, they don't know how to manage a revolution. We're talking about his orders. He's declared a day of mourning. Very good thing. He has appointed somebody to be his spokesperson. Something very important. But it has taken time, 1 week, 2 weeks after each event. They has missed the sense of a revolution. A revolution does not succeed on periodical movements. You take an action today, you wait for 1 month, 2 weeks, 5 days, you take another action. That is not how revolutions work. If Chiroma, on the 6th of November, when they swore in Mr. Popia, if he took his revolution to the streets of Cameroon, we were prepared to follow him. Just for 5 days, Yaoundé would have collapsed. Yaoundé would have collapsed. Yaoundé cannot sustain a public revolt for 5 days. But he didn't do it. You can declare days of mourning. That's quite good. That's the first encounter. But that's not a revolutionary move. Why you declare your mourning day today and then declare your spokesperson the next week? The regime, the stolen, the thieves are consolidating their power. And that will take me to what Atanganji was doing. What is the message of Atanganji? Atanganji is telling the world that everything is normal. These few people in the streets are just drug dealers. He gives them money. They come there crowding to take money from him. Call it back riders or everything. They are crowding to take money from him. What will you do? What will be your report if you were a foreign diplomat in Yaoundé? Who is in control? They have successfully shown that they're in control. Chiruma is busy giving periodical orders left and right. That's not how revolutions work, which is the same thing that I was saying in our own case. And let me just revisit. It is absolutely impossible for somebody, some third country, to come and tell Ambazania, take this or leave this. Because what's the consequence of taking or not taking? Absolutely nothing. We are not Ukraine. That they'll say if we don't take, we don't give you weapons. We're not Ukraine. That if we don't take, we don't give you diplomatic recognition. Nobody's going to recognize us. So they can only, if the international community will come there and try to impose their will, it will be on the conference table because that's the final decision. Even the Americans understand. Go to the conference table, agree on something, that's good. If they get to that level, the international community might be able to influence, or they might attempt to influence us. Yeah, they will try to influence Yaoundé. But up to this point, there is no way I can foresee somebody somewhere telling Ambazonians, take this or leave it, because they are not yet there. What are they there now? Right now, they are not there. If they're anywhere, they are in support of Yaoundé because they have the embassies in Yaoundé. We have not burned down any embassy. And so again, back to the thing, Chiroma is a revolutionary leader, but he must be able to manage the revolution in a revolutionary way, taking snail steps, one step after the other is not how revolutions work. Revolutions are spontaneous reaction that pull people to the streets. These people demonstrate, they destroy, they die. That's just a fact. You see fire burning in ministries. You see people being killed. The government will not sustain that for 5 days because they will start to run away. And so that's what I take from what they're doing. Mr. Chiruma, that's what he's doing. Atanganji and the people in government, that's what they're doing. Does that affect us? No, it doesn't affect us. We are still where we were.
8 years, 9 years ago, we are still where we are. Does the believe that we have been weakened by the election of President-elect Chiruma? No, they don't believe that. Does Chiruma believe that we have been weakened, was strengthened by his victory? No, we are still where we are, and President Sako is still where he is, in short, waiting for either Chiruma, if he finally sits in the 2D, or Bia, if he consolidates his position, to meet us on the negotiation table. That's where the real battle begins. Over to you.
Amazing. Okay.
But it just a short,
we
just a short clarification. A
Yeah,
short
please go ahead.
clarification, very short. Now,
Go right ahead, please.
we have to get the facts straight. On the 12th of October, there was election. On the 14th, Chiruma declared himself elected, and on the 6th of November, Bia was sworn in. And for this, throughout this period, up to the 6th and beyond, the regime wanted to kill Chiruma or arrest him. Those are the facts. They had a sharp, what do they call, snipers on top of roofs. They killed two people in his yard. They wanted to either arrest him dead or alive. They wanted to kill him, and it took some loyal Cameroon forces, according to him, to take him to a safe environment. That takes time. That safe environment happened to be Yola. And in Yola, he was arrested by the Nigerian police and soldiers from the complaint from Cameroon. It's only when they went to the investigation, went to their office and investigated and informed their bosses, that's when they found out who Chiruma was. All this time, that was when was sworn in, and everything was quiet. After the riot, after the election, after the proclamation, there was a riot. Chiruma was not free to take any action. He was running for his dear life, because if they killed him, that would have been the end of the story. We will not be talking about Chiruma today. But he finally got to Yola and was arrested by Nigerians. They cleared him. They gave him protective custody, and he's in Yola. And it starts from where he now comes back to be sending all these ultimatums. What was he supposed to do? Fight for his own dear life, or get people to come on the street? Listen, Cameroonians are so whimsical. They came on the street the first day. Get Cameroonians to come back to the street. We'll see whether anybody will come back to the street. Eh? The ghost town that he called, they were respected, but the ultimatum he gave the government did not respect it. Two ultimatums, none was respected. They respected his day of mourning, because 48 people were killed by the Bia regime. And it took time for him to come back to do what he's doing now. Because during that time, he was on the run for his dear life. Are you telling me that, Commandant Zama, you are telling me that instead of running for his dear life, he would have been getting people out on the street? He ran, and ended up in Yola, where he was arrested and interrogated. And Nigerian government took time to issue what I call a protective custody for him, by denying extradition to Cameroon. So, what is it that he could have done as a revolutionary leader at that time? Staying alive or coming to public and being killed? That is what I wanted to clear up. Thank you.
Can I just say
Sorry,
something, Paddy? Let me just say
there
something.
there is something you have said about. Yeah, you are going to speak by Stambesia. There's something you have said about La République du Cameroon that is absolutely very true. Some of them are already complaining that they won't be here. I am
Yes,
actually praying. I am not, I'm not an advocate for Chiruma, but I'm praying that they'll
yes,
have the
yes.
courage to understand that it takes only a revolution, not an election, to remove the
Correct,
octogenarian Judy.
correct.
I hope. By Stambesia, make your comment, please, so we can make some progress.
Now, what I was trying to say in relation to what Mr. Sok says, when we say Chiroma, Chiroma Bakari is an individual with a single head, two hands, and two legs. When we say Chiroma in this context, we are talking about the followers, his revolutionary followers. That will constitute Chiroma. So if his 5 million, 10 million followers could not sustain their revolt in the street, it is not a revolution. And just as you said, Paddy, there is no way you will change the dictatorship for 43 years by peaceful means. It will never happen. It has never happened. Dictatorships are there because they are dictators, because they can kill. Unless you can confront them wherever they are, that confronting them calls for a collection of people who might have a leader or not even a leader. They march to the ministry. Chiruma does not need to be there and say, release this thing or we'll burn down this ministry. That is how revolutions work. As simple as good morning. If that had happened, he did not need to beg for permission to be in Yola. The Nigerian embassy in Yaoundé would have reported the revolutions in the street. They are looking for their president. They will send message to their own government in Nigeria. Just like the Americans would have done. Just like the British, whoever is represented in Yaoundé as an embassy would send the same report. Again, I insist, revolutions, dictatorships cannot be overthrown by, by periodical commands. It must be continuous, it must be sustained. And to succeed within a short time, it is properly sustained. Like the first day, they went to arrest Chiroma in Garawa. They couldn't even go near his house. They saw the crowd there, they realized that they could not go there. And so, like not, it is not about Chiroma. It is about the revolutionary movement of La République de Cameroon going to change a 43-year-old dictatorship. Because Chiroma will not be where he is if he didn't have this large following behind him that we saw. That's what I wanted to say, sir. Thank you.